starting with the introduction. So, theory of automation. What is automata? Basically, firstly, we can define what is automata. So, in theory of computation, if we are talking about automation, so what is automata? Automata, it can be defined as any system in which energy or any information, it can be transformed, transmitted, processed, and further it produces the output, but without the direct intervention of a human being. So that is automation, in which direct intervention of human being is not required. Automatically the work can be done. So if I am defining this kind of system, I can define it as so if I am defining the system of automation, so I can define it as inputs is I1, I2 till In. These are the inputs. Inputs are provided to the set, to the system, okay, and this system, while processing this input or while processing the data or while processing the information, it would be in some of the state, that either Q1, Q2, I have written up to Qn. So it will be in one of the states at the instant time, T1, T2 till Tn. So at a particular time, it would be in particular state while processing the information, while transmitting the information, and finally it produces the output, that is O1, O2. So this is a system. Inputs are provided, information is processed, transformed, transmitted, produces the output, but without the direct intervention of a human being. Human being is not directly involved in automation. Okay. For example, any example of automation we can define as automated tool machines are there. There are automatic tool machines that work automatically, and for example our photo printing machine, input is just provided to a printer, it gives the output, automatically the transmission and transformation is done. So there's printer machines, photostat printer machines are there as an automation, example of automation, and automatic packaging machines are there, so in which direct involvement of human being is not required. So this is the definition of automation. Further, automata, it can be defined as, it can be distinguished as, you can say, finite automata and infinite automata. So either it can be distinguished as finite automata or infinite automata. So how we can define a finite automata? So finite automata can be defined in which finite number of states are there. That means finite number of initial states, finite number of middle states, and finite number of final states. So if a string is being processed, it will start from initial state and it will reach some final state. So if there is a final state, finite number of final states are there, so it means that is a finite automata. Okay. But in the case, if there are infinite number of states, then it deals with infinite automata. So for example of infinite automata, if our system, it enters into a loop, infinite loop, so it means it is not able to get to the final state, one of the final state. So it is not able to reach one of the final state. So at this point, that is the example of infinite automation, because it gets involved in infinite loop, and that loops run in the system. So that is infinite automation. And finite, we will reach to the final state. So that would be the finite automata. Okay. So we are going to discuss further finite automata, and we can further define that in finite automata, it can be defined as DFA and NDFA. So DFA, it is mainly deterministic finite automata, and NDFA is mainly non-deterministic finite automata. So what's the difference between DFA and NDFA? These are the types of finite automata only. These are finite automata, but one is deterministic and the other one is non-deterministic. So what is the main difference between DFA and NDFA? We are going to discuss. Now firstly talking about DFA. Deterministic finite automata, that means that for each and every state, each and every input symbol that would be defined. And another thing, for each and every state with the present state and with the present input, a new state would be uniquely defined. That with present input and in present state, it will move to the next state uniquely. That state would be uniquely defined. That would be the one particular state to which it is moving for a particular input. So that is deterministic. So you can define deterministic finite automata with mainly 5 tuples. So any deterministic finite automatic machines can be defined as a 5 tuple. What are these 5 tuples? The first one is Q. Q mainly represents, many machine, deterministic machine, it will represent non-empty finite set of states. Okay, so Q, it will mainly represent the set of states in any machine. That if the string is processed, while processing the string, it would be in some kind of state. Okay, so that Q will represent the number of states that are being possible, that are being involved during the processing of information. Next, coming to the sigma set. This is again non-empty finite set of inputs. So this is mainly input alphabet. This will contain all the possible inputs. Okay, or you can say any inputs that are provided to the system. So this set will contain all the inputs. Now next is transition function. So what is this transition function? It mainly maps the present state with the present input to the next state. So it is mainly mapping or giving us the transition from the present state to the next state. Movements from the present state to the next state. We can define it as, for example, any if our system is in any state, for example Q, any input that belongs to input alphabet. So processing the input and present state, and will reach some next state. So system will reach some next state. So this mapping is shown by the transition function. This mapping is given by the transition function. So maybe the transition from one state to the next state. Okay, that is given by the transition function. In this case, DFA, with a particular state, with a particular input, the next state is uniquely identified. It will move to only one state, one new state. Okay. Next comes Q naught. What is Q naught? Q naught is mainly the initial state. Q naught represents the initial state. It belongs to the set of Q. It belongs to the set of states only, that is Q, and it represents the initial state. What is the initial state? Next comes to the F. F is mainly the subset of Q. That means set of, or you can say subset of Q. It will represent the set of final states. So subset of Q, here Q naught belongs to Q and F is a subset of Q. This is also The subset of Q, this is also subset of Q, but it belongs to Q, it means there will be only one initial state. And it is a subset of Q, it means there can be more than one final states. Okay, so set of states, input alphabets, so mapping is there from present state to next state. Initial state would be there, and there can be more than one final states that would be represented by the set F. Okay? Now this is DFA, deterministic finite automata. It can be defined with 5 tuples. We can give any example. For example, here Q0 state is there. Initial state is represented with a slight arrow at the beginning. So with A input, it remains over Q0 only. With B, it reaches Q1, that is the final state, and further with A and B, Q1, A and B, they are making the loop over here only, it means they are remaining in Q1 state only. Okay. For each state, each input is defined. For Q0, A and B both are defined. For Q1, A and B both are defined, if A and B are input alphabets. Okay. There is one initial state, in here there is one final state. And for A, with Q0, with A it is reaching Q0 only, so it is uniquely defined, only one state. It is with A it is reaching only one state, that is Q0. For B, it is again the movement is uniquely defined, the move is uniquely defined. Q0 with B is reaching Q1, only one state, next state, that is Q1. So it is also uniquely determined, and Q1 with A and B are reaching Q1. So this is the DFA, deterministic finite automata. Now if we are talking about NDFA, that is non-deterministic finite automata. So what is NDFA? Again in NDFA, 5 tuples would be defined for this machine also. Say Q is the non-empty finite set of states. Again sigma is the non-empty finite set of inputs. This is the transition function. Q0 is the initial state, and F again the subset of Q, that is set of final states. There can be more than one final states, but the only change would be transition function. So what would be the change in transition function? For DFA, it is the transition function is that is the present in state and the present input. It is reaching only one uniquely defined next state, one state, that is one state, single state, uniquely defined. But in the case of NDFA, sometimes there are moves. There can be moves in the machines for which a particular uniquely state cannot be determined. A unique state cannot be determined. So it means with the present state and with the present input, it can move to more than one states. So that can be given transition function 2 raised by Q. Q is again subset of states. Okay, so there it can reach for particular input with the particular present state. It can move to more than one states. So if it is moving to more than one states, that is NDFA, non-deterministic. That means the next state is not uniquely determined. So that is non-deterministic. So if we give the example, same example if I am giving with NDFA. So I can define Q0, the initial state. For example, with A input, it is reaching Q0 only. And again, with A input, it is reaching Q1 also. Now what's the difference in both the diagrams? First of all, for Q0, both the inputs A and B are defined. But here in NDFA, it is not necessary that each and every input would be defined for each and every state. For Q0, I have only defined A input, but not for B. For Q1, A and B both are defined, but for Q0, only A is defined, not B. So in this case, in DFA, each and every input would be defined for each and every state, but in NDFA, that is not the requirement. Okay, and further, in DFA, with A it is reaching only the one new state, that is Q0. With B it is reaching Q1. But here in NDFA, with A input it is reaching Q0 also, and with A it is reaching to Q1 also. So there are two states. for A input alphabet. For A input alphabet, move is not uniquely defined. Okay? So starting from Q0, the move is not uniquely defined for A input alphabet. It is reaching Q0 also, it is reaching Q1 also. So that is NDFA, that is non-deterministic, in which the moves, particular moves sometimes for particular input, they are not uniquely defined. That is NDFA. So that's the difference between DFA and NDFA. So 2 raised power q, it means there can be more than one states. So it can be in the form of 2 raised power. Okay, fine. So moving next. You can see that how the string is asserted. So firstly, we are talking about finite automata. So how the string is being accepted in a finite automata? How we can say that a string is being accepted by the machine? So machine is working, we can provide the input in the form of strings. Okay. So if the string is provided to a machine, how we can say that that string is being accepted by a machine or it is rejected by the machine? How we can say that? Now for example, you can take an example to see the acceptability of a string. So we are maybe seeing the acceptability of a string by finite automation. So acceptability of a string by finite automation. So example is that if we consider a finite state machine is there. Transition function is given in the form of table. So transition function, that the moves that are being given from one state if with the present input, which next state it is moving. So it can be given in the form of table also. So in the form of table it is given, and the set of states Q is defined as Q0, Q1, Q2 and Q3. These are the set of states for Q7. That is, there are 4 states. Okay. Now input alphabet is given. In input alphabet we have 0 and 1. So there are only 2 inputs, either 0 or 1, that will be defined. Okay. Final state is Q0. This is defined. The final state is Q0. Okay. So transition table is mentioned. So we can see that transition table in which transition function is defined with transition table. So we can say initial state, it is always represented with an arrow, and final state would be represented in table, it would be represented with a single circle, and in diagram it will be represented by the 2 concentric circles. So I am defining this table. So in table, initial state is Q0 defined with an arrow, and final state, as we already seen, it is also Q0, so it is being circled also. So Q0 is the initial state and Q0 is the final state. This table is already defined. So I am just noting down the table. The table is defined. So how you can say how transitions are being defined over here? With the state Q0, starting with the state Q0, because this is the initial state, starting with the state Q0 with the 0 input, it is reaching Q2, and with 1 input, it is reaching Q1. Again Q1 state, with 0 it is reaching Q3, with 1 it is reaching, the next state is Q0. Q2, the string with 0 input, it would reach Q0, and with 1 it will reach Q3. Q3, with the 0 input, the next state would be Q1, and with the 1 the next state would be Q2. So this has been defined. These modes are being defined. As transition function is defined, it is given in the form of a table. Now we have to see our string is also given. The string that is being defined to see that whether it is being accepted by a machine or not. The string that is 110101. So this is a string. We have to see that whether this string is accepted by this finite automation or not. Now how we can say that this string is accepted by finite automation? This can be said on the basis of that if the string starting from the initial state, the whole string is processed and at the end it reaches the final state, then it means that string is accepted by finite automation. But by processing the string, when the whole string is completed, if it does not enter the final state, it is in some non-final state, then we will say that the string is rejected by the automation. It is not accepted by the automation. Okay, so we can see that how we will see that this starting from Q0, here the final state is Q0 only. So starting from Q0, the whole processing should be done and at the end it should reach Q0 only. Okay, then it will be accepted. But if it does not reach to the final state is Q0, it occurs to be in some other state, non-final state, then it is rejected. So how we can see? Firstly we can write like this in this format. Firstly we write initial state, transition function. We are defining the modes. Initial state is Q0, comma, and write your string 110101. Okay, let's write. This is the string. Now the current state, initial state is Q0 and the present input symbol that need to be processed is 1. So we can see the table. Q0 with the input 1. It reaches the next state is Q1. So we will write the next state, that is Q1. And now this is processed, so we will write the remaining string. So remaining string is 10101. Done. Now the present state is Q1 and the present symbol input that need to be processed is again 1. So Q1 with 1 input. So Q1, see the table, with 1 input, the next state is Q0. So write the next state, that is Q0, and the rest of string that need to be processed, that is 0101. Here, then moving to next. Now the current state is Q0 and the symbol to be processed is 0. So Q0 with 0, it reaches the next state, that is Q2. So hence write Q2, that is your next state, and the rest of your string, that is 101. Now the current state is Q2 and the symbol to be processed is 1. So Q2 with 1 input, it reaches the next state, that is Q3. So write down Q3 and the rest of the string, that is 0 and 1. Done. Now again present state is Q3, symbol is 0. So Q3 with 0, the next state is Q1. So write Q1 and the string that is left only 1. So presently we are in state Q1 and the input symbol only 1 is left, that is 1. So now we'll see that Q1 with 1 it reaches the last state, that is Q0. So Q0 and null means string is being processed. So the last state is Q0. So now at the end when the whole string is processed, we are reaching the state Q0. So Q0 and it is the final state. Q0 is the final state. So it means by processing the whole string, the string from initial state, it reaches at the end, it reaches the final state, that is Q0. So hence it means this is accepted. Okay, the string 110101 is accepted by this finite automation because it reaches the final state. starting from the initial state. Done? So this was the how we can show the acceptability of a string by a finite automaton. So if any transition function is given, any DFA is given, from DFA we can derive a table. We can make this table, and by showing the moves starting from the initial state, if the string reaches the final state, it is accepted by the finite automation. If it does not reaches any of the final state, it is in any of the non-final state among them. So that means it would be rejected. Okay? So moving to the next topic, we have done DFA and DFA acceptability of the string. Next we can move to the equivalence. So the equivalence of DFA and NDFA. So there is a theorem that states that for every NDFA there exists a DFA. That means for every non-deterministic finite automation there would exist a deterministic finite automation. We increase the number of states, so every NDFA will have a DFA, and that DFA will simulate the behavior of NDFA. Okay, so we can show this with an example that by increasing number of states it will simulate the behavior of NDFA only, and for each and every NDFA there will exist a DFA. Okay, and how we can show with the example? So let's take an example. States are provided. Here again the transition table is given for NDFA. So this table is provided for NDFA. Q0 is the initial state, marking with an arrow, and also circle, so it means it is also a final state, Q0. With 0, it is moving to the next state Q0. With 1, it is moving to the next state Q1. Q1 is defined. With 0, it is moving to the next state Q1, and for 1, Q0, comma Q2. Now from table itself we can see that this is NDFA. How? For Q1, with the one input, the moves are not uniquely identified, not uniquely determined. With Q1, with one input, it is moving to Q0 also, and it is moving to Q1 also. So that move is not uniquely determined for input 1. So it means this is a NDFA. In the case of DFA, this would not be possible. That would be uniquely determined, either Q0 or Q1. Okay. So this is NDFA. Table for NDFA. Transition table. So this is a transition table for NDFA. Now we can derive equivalence DFA from this. How we can derive? First of all, this case is not possible in DFA, that the move is not uniquely determined. So how we can derive equivalence DFA from this? We need to create the subsets of these states. Okay, we will deal with that subsets of these states, and we will create the DFA with that subsets only. Okay, so how we can create the subsets? For example, we are having the states Q0 and Q1. Okay, so if we need to create the subsets of them, so one would be 5, the other would be Q0 only, the next would be Q1, and one would be Q0, Q2. These would be the subsets of this states. This is a set of states. We are having the two states Q0, Q1. We need to create the subsets of them. There would be 4. Okay, 5 Q0 would be there, Q1 would be there, and Q0, Q2 would be there. This would be 4. Okay, so if we are going to define initial state, again Q naught, so initial state would be Q naught only for DFA also. And what about the final state? Final state is Q naught. So here final state would be Q naught, and but there is one more subset that is containing Q naught, that is Q naught Q1. So this would be also be your final state. Okay, initial state would be Q naught only, there is a single initial state. But talking about final state, so final state we can have more than one final state. So final state involves Q naught state. So this is a subset involving Q naught, and this is also a subset involving Q naught. So both will act as a final state. Q naught and Q naught Q1 both will act as a final state. So final states is acted however Q naught and Q naught Q1. Done. Now deriving DFA from this MDFA, we can make a table. So start with the table. State we need to define. Input again 0 and 1. Okay. Starting with the, so for DFA you need to write your states in the form of square bracket. Should be enclosed in the square bracket to show that these are the subsets of these states. Okay. If you are not writing these square brackets, it will be wrong. It will be considered wrong. So Q naught. So first initial state is Q naught. With the 0 input, it is reaching the next state, that is Q naught. So write in square bracket Q naught only. With 1 input, Q naught is reaching Q1. So okay. So with Q naught, initial state Q naught, we are going to see this table, MDFA table, and we are writing the next states that are being there for input 0 and 1. So Q naught for 0, it goes to Q naught only, and for 1 it reaches the Q1. So Q naught and Q1. Now leaving that table behind on the side, now you will see this table, that which next state you need to be defined. So you will see the right hand side. First state is defined, initial state. After that you will see the right hand side. So with which state is the new state? That is not being defined on the left hand side yet. So Q naught it is already defined, but what about Q1? It is not been defined yet. So the next state we will define is Q1. Okay, you will see the right hand side. You will see which next state we need to define, which next state is there that need to be defined. So that is Q1. Now you will define Q1. Now you can see the moves from there. Q1 with 0 reaching Q1. Q1 with 1 reaching Q naught Q1. So that is a subset. Q naught Q1. So that is the second row being defined in the table. Now again you will see on the right hand side which new state that has been occurred that we need to define over there on the left hand side. So we have already defined Q naught, Q1 state is there, it is been defined. This is a new state, Q naught Q1. This subset need to be defined. So now you will define Q naught Q1 because this is a new state that need to be defined. So if we need to define Q naught Q1, we just need to club them, Q naught and Q1. So for Q naught Q1, for 0 it would be Q naught Q1 only, we are clubbing it. And for 1, Q naught Q1, for 1 it is Q1 Q naught Q1. So this has been repeated, Q1. You don't need to repeat this state. Just write Q naught Q1 only. Because you don't need to repeat the state. Here Q naught is moving to Q1. And for the Q1 with the string 1, it is going to move to Q naught Q1. Okay, so we don't need to repeat the state Q1. We just will write Q naught and Q1. Now any new state that need to be defined? No. All the states that are on right hand side have been defined on left hand side. It means our table is complete, and you can enter one row, that is 5. So this is the table for your DFA. So this was MDFA. And this is a table that we have derived that is equivalent to this MDFA. So this is a table for your DFA. And from this table you can draw the diagram also for DFA. Yes, we can. We need to draw a DFA from this table. How we can draw DFA? That is Q naught, firstly the initial state. This is the initial state. And Q naught with 0 is reaching Q naught only. With 1 it is reaching Q1. Next, Q1 with 0 is reaching Q1 only, and for 1 it is reaching Q0 Q1. Okay. Now Q0 Q1, for 0 it is reaching Q0 Q1 only, and for 1 also it is reaching Q0 Q1. Now what was the final state? Initial state was Q0 and final state was again Q0 was final state and also Q0 Q1. It is also containing Q0, so this is also final state, two concentric circles. Yeah. So this is the DFA that is being created from this table. So that is equivalent to the NDFA that was previously defined. So this is the DFA, equivalent DFA. Fine. So moving to the next topic. You can see another example. Same equivalence of DFA and DFA. You can see another example to clear the concepts. So find the deterministic acceptor. You need to find the deterministic acceptor. That is equivalent to, so machine is given. We need to find the deterministic acceptor. That means we need to find the DFA. Okay. So machine is given Q0, comma, Q1, comma, Q2. So these are the states. Q, set of states, as machine is defined in 5 tuples. So firstly is a Q, that is a set of states. These states are Q0, Q1 and Q2, means there are 3 states. Then comes input alphabet, sigma, that are 2 inputs, A and B. Then comes transition function, that would be defined in the form of table, that which for current present state, the present input, it is moving to the next. Then initial state is Q0. What is the initial state, and the last tuple is the final state, so that is a subset Q2. So that means Q2 is the final state. Okay, so this is the initial state and this is the final state. So 5 tuples have been defined for a machine. Okay, so now we need to find DFA, equivalent DFA, but the transition function is being defined as in the form of table. So let's write the table also. State input alphabet A, B. So this is given initial state Q0. A, it is given Q0, Q1, B, Q2. Then the next state is Q1, that is Q0, Q1. Q2, the final state, this is not mentioned, Q0, comma, Q1. So in this, the states have been mentioned. This is the initial state in this table, this is the final state, Q2. And transition is being provided with Q0, with the input symbol A, it is reaching Q0, Q1, B, it is reaching Q2. Again with A, it is reaching Q0, and with B, the string is reaching the next state, Q1. For Q2 state, the A is not being defined, except empty. But for B, it is reaching Q0, Q1. So it is obvious that this is a table that is defining NDFA, because unique moves are not there. Okay, for Q0 also, for A input, it is reaching to the two states, Q0 and Q1. And similarly, Q2, in this final state also, for A, the move is not been defined, but this is not possible in the form of DFA. And DFA, there can be an empty move, but in DFA, there is no empty move. There should be a move. Okay, there cannot be an empty move. So with B, it is reaching again to two states, Q0 and Q1. So it defines that this is a transition table for NDFA. So we need to get the equivalent DFA for this table, for this NDFA. So how we can get? So you can derive a table from this NDFA as we have done previously. So let's say state A and B. Now starting with the initial state. Okay, the initial state is Q0. So we will take the subset Q0. Q0 with A input, it is reaching Q0, Q1. So there would be a subset Q0, Q1. You can define the subsets before also. But what subsets that would be for these three states, Q0, Q1 and Q2? The subset would be Q0, the subset would be Q1, Q2, Q0, Q1, Q0, Q2, Q1, Q2. These would be the subsets. So Q0, with A it is reaching the subset Q0, Q1. And with B it is reaching the subset Q2. We'll write this. Now what we have to do? We will see the right hand side which new state has been defined. So you can see the new states, both the states are new that need to be defined, Q0, Q1 and Q2. So firstly we can define Q2 or we can define Q0, Q1 also. It's your wish. So for example, firstly, for example, we are defining Q2. Q2 for A, this is the empty string. The move is not defined for Q2 with A input. So what we need to do? We will put 5 over here, because move is not being defined for Q2. Okay? 5 over here. And for B input, now it is reaching the state Q0, comma Q1. Okay? So we'll write Q2 with input B. It is reaching the next state, that is the subset Q0, Q1. So write the subset Q0, Q1 over here. That is the same. But we are watching for A input, for B input, it is going to Q0, Q1. But for K, A, this was not being defined. The move is not being defined. So you have to write 5 over here to fill this move, because we cannot show empty string in DFA. Okay, empty move. Now, which is the next new state that need to be defined? Yes, Q2 is already been defined. We are left with Q0, Q1. This is the new state. This is a new subset that need to be defined. So we will define Q0, Q1. So Q0, Q1, you need to club them. You need to club the states. So Q0, Q1 for A, they are moving to Q0, Q1, Q0. So Q0 we don't need to repeat it as I told you before. So we will just write Q0 and Q1. So subset would be Q0, Q. Okay. For Q0, Q1 for B, it is Q2, Q1. So this is again a new subset, that is Q1, Q2. You have clubbed them, so it is Q1, Q2. Okay. So now the new subset that has been defined is Q1, Q2. Okay. Rest of all subsets have been, or substates have been, these states have been defined. So there is a new, that is Q1, Q2. So we need to define it. So let's define the new state, that is Q1, Q2. Okay. So Q1, Q2. Now you need to club Q1 and Q2. For A, it is being Q0. Here Q2 is empty, so there is only one set, that is Q2. Yes, there is a subset Q0, so you can write Q0. Okay. Moving next, for B, Q1, Q2. For B, it is moving to Q0, Q1. See, Q1, Q0, Q1. But the subset would be Q0, Q1 only. We already discussed the subsets. What would be the subset? So subset would be Q0, Q1 only. So we need to write Q0, Q1 only. Now you can see the right hand side. Is there any new state that need to be defined? No. Q0, Q1 is been defined. Q2 is been defined. Q1, Q2 is been defined. So there is no new state. This is Q0. Okay. So there is no new state that need to be defined. So this is the table. Okay. This is your DFA. That is equivalent to this NDFA. So you need to find a deterministic acceptor. This is a deterministic acceptor. This is a deterministic acceptor that has been derived from this NDFA. Here now the uniqueness has been defined. There is no empty move. Okay. For particular move, for particular input, there is a particular move. It is reaching particular state, that is the subsets of these states. Okay. So this is the deterministic acceptor that we have been derived from this NDFA. Okay. So we can draw the DFA from this now. This is a table. We can draw a DFA also. So how we can draw? So DFA, if we are going to draw DFA for this table, that's easy. What was the initial state? First mentioned, initial state was Q0 only and final state was Q2. So initial state is Q0 only and the final state is Q2. So now there will be two final states, this Q2 and this Q1, Q2, because this is also involving Q2 in it. So these are the two final states and this is the initial state, Q0. Final state was Q2, so it means any subset that is involving Q2, that is including Q2, that would act as a final state. So this will act as a final state and as well as this will act as a final state. Okay, so let's draw the DFA for them. Firstly, starting with the initial state, that is Q0. The next state, with A it is going to Q0, Q1, and with B it's going to Q2. See? So the next state is Q0, Q1. With A, the string will move to the next state, Q0, Q1. and with B it will move to the next state, that is Q2. So we can define Q2. So with B it is moving to the next state, that is Q2. Now Q0 is the initial state and Q2 is the final state. So we can draw two concentric circles over here to represent it as a final state. Okay. Now further, Q2, A is empty, move, and for B it is Q0, Q1. So B it is moving to Q0, Q1, and for A you can say it can move to some dead string, you can phi string. Now Q0, Q1, with A it is reaching Q0, Q1 only, and with B it is reaching the new state, that is Q1, Q2. Now this is also final state, this will act as a final state because it is including Q2 in it. This will also act as a final state. So it is reaching from Q0, Q1, we were seeing the Q0, Q1, with A, Q0, Q1, and with B, Q1, Q2. Can see that? Now the last state that we need to define is Q1, Q2. This is Q1, Q2. For A, it is reaching Q0. So A is just reaching Q0. So you can define over here. And for B, it is reaching Q0, Q1. See? Now this would be the deterministic acceptance, DFA. Okay, for the following and DFA that has been defined in a previous table. So that this is the DFA. Now, in this, for each state, each and every input has been defined. There is initial states, there are finite final states. Okay, and uniqueness has been defined with particular input and present in state, it is moving to only the uniquely determined next state. Okay, so this is the DFA that has been derived or equivalent with that NDFA. Clear? Now moving to the next topic. So in the next topic, I am just going to give the definition of two terms that are being defined as Mealy and Murray models. So what is Mealy and Murray model? For example, our output, the output of a machine. If the output function is depending both on the present state and input, okay, if it is depending both on the present state and input, then it is a Mealy machine. That is, it is a Mealy model. But if the output function for machine, it is depending only on the state, not on the input. It is independent of the input. It is depending, output function is only depending upon the state, current state, and independent of the input, then it would be a Murray model. So there are two types of models. So we can give the definition as, for example, the output functions if we are considering ZT. So lambda is this output function. Okay. a generalized Mealy model. Exactly. So this is, you can define as a generalized Mealy model. So how it is defined? This is the output function. Lambda is defined as an output function. So it is defining that if the output function, it is depending upon the state also. Qt would be the current state and xt would be the input. So t is at any time instant. So at any time t, the machine is in the state q and the input that is processed being x at any time t. So qt is the state, xt is the input at any time t. Okay. So if the output function lambda, it is depending both on state as well as on input, so that would be the determined as the Mealy model. Okay. And what about Moore machine? Okay, fine. So this is a generalized Moore model. It is defined for this Moore model. Lambda is again the output function. The output function is only dependent upon the state at any time t. At any time t, if the machine is only dependent upon, if the output of the machine is only dependent upon at any state, at any time t, and it is independent of input. It is not dependent upon the input. So output function is not depending upon the input at time, instant time. It is only depending upon the current state. So that will be the generalized Moore model. Okay, so there is a difference. Mealy is depending upon input as well as state, and it is independent of input. It is only depending upon the state. So that is the Mealy and Moore model. We can define with them a tuple. For example, Moore machine, it can be defined as the 6 tuple q, sigma, delta, transition function, lambda and q naught. Okay. The rest is same as we have done in DFA and LDFA. Q would be the set of states. This would be the input alphabet. This is the transition function. Again, the transition function is same. That is input into state. It will give us the move to the next state. This is same. Transition function is same as we have done in DFA. Input and state, it is moving to the next state. Q naught is the initial state. Okay, that is also same. Now we have the new symbols. This one. So what is delta? Delta is the output alphabet. And lambda is the output function, as we have defined earlier. Two new symbols in the tuple, delta and lambda. Delta is the output alphabet and lambda is the output function. So for Moore models, output function can be defined as, so lambda is defined as so for Moore model, the output function in this, the output, this state is deriving to the output alphabet. It means the output is only depending upon the state, not on input. Okay. So this is for Moore model. And for Mealy, these tuples would be same only. This would be same. Just we will distinguish the output function over here. So for Mealy model, Mealy, the output function would be q plus input. It will derive to the output alphabet. So that's the difference. Here the output, it will depend, output alphabet, it will depend on state as well as on input. So this is the only difference between Mealy and model. So we define the Mealy and model generalized form. And further we have defined the Moore model and Mealy model in the form of tuples. And So the tuples are there, only new tuples are added, delta and lambda. So delta is the output alphabet and lambda is the output function. Output function for Murray is that the output alphabet is only depending upon the state. For Mealy, the output alphabet is depending both on state and as well as on input. So this is the Mealy definition, right? So this was the concept, the starting concept of automation. So we are just finishing our topic over here only. So thank you very much. We'll continue by tomorrow.